Cave of the Unknown. It was supposed to be an exciting adventure, a chance for two old friends to reconnect and explore the depths of a remote cave system. But as the hours wore on and the darkness closed in around them, the sense of excitement turned to fear. The cave was deep and twisting, with narrow passageways and sharp rocks jutting out from every direction. The men, Jackson and Mark, had brought plenty of supplies with them: headlamps, ropes, food, and water. They had studied maps of the cave and planned their route carefully, but still they were not prepared for what lay ahead. The first few hours went by smoothly enough. They followed the winding passages, crawled through tight spaces, and rappelled down sheer drops. They joked and laughed, reminiscing about old times and imagining what lay ahead. But as they went deeper into the cave, things began to change. The air grew colder, and a strange musty smell filled their nostrils. They heard strange noises in the darkness: the scurrying of tiny feet, the fluttering of wings, and the low growls of unseen creatures. Jackson and Mark tried to push past their fear, telling themselves that it was all in their heads, that they were just imagining things. But then the worst happened. They lost their map. At first, they thought it was no big deal. They had memorized the route, and they knew they were heading in the right direction. But as they twisted and turned through the maze-like cave, they soon realized that they were hopelessly lost. The darkness seemed to press in on them from all sides. They could barely see their own hands in front of their faces, and the only sound was the drip-drip of water from far-off stalactites. They tried calling for help, but their voices echoed back at them, as if mocking their desperation. As time wore on, they grew hungry and thirsty. They rationed what little food and water they had left, trying to make it last as long as possible. But the sense of doom only grew stronger. They knew they were running out of time. And then they saw it, a flicker of light, far off in the distance. They could barely believe their eyes, but they knew it was their only hope. They stumbled towards it, their hearts pounding with excitement and fear. As they drew closer, the light resolved into a flickering torch, held by a figure they couldn't quite make out. They called out, their voices hoarse with exhaustion and relief. The figure turned to face them, and they saw that it was a man, dressed in tattered rags and clutching a rusty knife. His eyes glinted in the torch light, and a silky grin spread across his face. For a moment, they froze, unable to comprehend what was happening. And then the man lunged forward, brandishing the knife. Jackson and Mark fought for their lives, but they were no match for the madman in the darkness. They stumbled and fell, their limbs thrashing wildly, as the man laughed and plunged his knife again and again. In the end, they were found by a search party, their bodies battered and torn, lying in a pool of their own blood. The madman was never caught, and the cave was sealed off, deemed too dangerous for further exploration. But the memory of what happened there lingered, haunting the dreams of those who had survived. They knew that they had been lucky to make it out alive, and they knew that the darkness of the cave held secrets that would better left undiscovered. Horror Story Portal warning: it was just another day for Sarah. She was a college student, living in a small apartment in the city. She loved spending our evenings scrolling through the internet, looking for new stories to read. But on this particular night, she stumbled upon something that would change her life forever. As she scrolled through the dark corners of the internet, she came across a website that promised to take her on a journey to the unknown. It was called The Portal. Intrigued, Sarah clicked on the link and was transported to a strange world, unlike anything she had ever seen before. The website was full of strange symbols and cryptic messages that she couldn't understand. But the longer she stayed on the website, the more she felt like she was being watched. It was as if someone or something was looking over her shoulder, observing our every move. Sarah quickly closed the website and tried to shake off the feeling of unease that had settled over her. But as the days passed, strange things started to happen. She would hear strange noises in her apartment, things would go missing and then reappear in unexpected places. Worst of all, she would wake up in the middle of the night, feeling like she was being suffocated by something invisible. She tried to tell her friends and family what was happening, but they just brushed it off as her imagination. They thought she was being paranoid and told her to stop spending so much time on the internet. But Sarah knew something was wrong. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched, followed, and hunted. One day, she went back to the portal and found that the website had changed. It was no longer a harmless place to explore the unknown, but a gateway to something far more sinister. As she tried to navigate through the site, the symbols began to glow and pulse with an otherworldly energy. Suddenly, the website transformed into a dark abyss that swallowed Sarah whole. She felt herself being dragged into the void, and she knew that she would never return. The last thing Sarah heard was a chorus of voices, chanting in a language she couldn't understand. They seemed to be celebrating our arrival, welcoming her to a world of endless terror and darkness. Years went by, and Sarah's disappearance remained a mystery. But those who knew her couldn't help but wonder if she had stumbled upon something that she wasn't meant to see. Something that had consumed her and taken her to a place beyond her understanding. To this day, people still whisper about the portal, and the horrors that lie within. Some say that it's just a myth, a figment of the imagination. But others know the truth, and they warn anyone who dares to seek it out. Beware the portal, for it is a gateway to madness and death. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.